Top of the day to you, our lovely and smart real estate investors, wherever you're watching us across the world. I am super delighted to welcome you to another insightful and educative session of Property Matters here on YouTube. My name is Adejare and I'm your host here on Property Matters. Property Matter is a real estate issue talk show where we talk extensively on how you can identify a fraudulent real estate developer. We have given insightful tips on how you can identify a fraudulent real estate transaction. We have given insightful information on how to identify fake land documents and other relevant real estate important issues. After coming across this channel for the first time, do well to subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, and I can assure you that you are going to have a beautiful time following us here on Property Matters. I will be back immediately after this short commercial. Don't go nowhere. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about why Lagos is considered a high risk for real estate investment. And I'm also going to explain on how you can identify and minimize this risk and of course get the best out of the Lagos State real estate market. Now, why is Lagos considered a high risk investment? So you should understand that Lagos State basically right now is enforcing some basic regulations and laws, and I've said it in some of my videos that the aim of these building regulations and approvals that is being demanded from Lagos State is to ensure that structures and every other real estate activities conform to the mega plan dream that the government have for the state. And of course, you know that Lagos State is presently looking at making that state a mega city, having almost the same standard with what we have in Dubai and other top investment destinations across the world. Now, what if I tell you that we can help you minimize this risk? And then we can also do this by ensuring that we are working basically with some government basic rules, parastatals, and of course, we can also help you to ensure that your real estate investment is safe. Although working with these basic rules, regulations are very, very tedious and of course demanding, but it is very important that whenever you're doing anything in Lagos, it is very essential that you follow the basic regulations so that you don't lose your investment to things. Now, do not forget that the sole aim why Lagos State is regarded as a high risk investment zone basically is because of the fact that Lagos State is still Lagos State real estate market is valuable and the industry will be relevant even decades after today. Now, your refusal to take maximum advantage of this industry could lead to maximum, regret in the future. We all will agree with us that Lagos State real estate market can be compared to as a gold mine. This is where a lot of cities and a lot of people are having multiple investments here in Lagos. Then I also want you to understand that most of the expensive real estate in Africa is situated in Lagos. And when you talk about the likes of the Banana Island, the Magodo GRA, and the Ikeja and the like, you understand that Lagos State obviously is also a tourist investment destination. So let's look at it from this perspective. Now, view it from this scenario. What if all these projects, presently the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road is undergoing massive construction right now, though we can guarantee that from the Victoria Island down to the Eleko axis, the coastal road will be completed, and obviously it will be an alternative route for the popular Lekki-Epe Expressway. In addition to that, I also want you to understand that there is also other project that is going on concurrently. We all know that the Dangote refinery has started refining of oil, and of course the movement of trucks and other vehicular activities has increased drastically. We also know that the Lagos State deep sea ports have also commenced operation. So Lagos as a state has two major deep sea ports, and with the Badagry deep sea port that is coming, it will end up being 3. Apart from that, we also know that the Fourth Mainland Bridge is also in the pipeline. Imagine when this bridge is fully completed and we have different access. Now, all this project is aimed towards urbanizing the state and making real estate more valuable. Now, when you understand that, when foreign investors are beginning to see these opportunities, many Lagosians and other Nigerians in diaspora are beginning to turn blind eyes to these. And because of the fact that many people were devastated with, the recent landmark demolition and other property demolition, and we've explained extensively on what actually transpired and why all these demolitions are still ongoing. So your refusal to invest in this region will not reduce its value. Your refusal to take advantage of the Lagos State real estate market will definitely not affect the demand. And of course, so you need to understand that instead of refusing to invest in real estate, you should work with some professional, those who understand this business rule, and they can point you to the safest and of course profitable place to invest. So now, instead of saying I'm not going to invest in Lagos, your emphasis should be how can I invest, or your emphasis should be concentrated solely on how can I minimize those risks. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that when you are investing in Lagos, like I said in my previous video, that's what we call the zoning rules and regulations, and these zoning rules and regulations are stipulated for each local government. Now, when you understand that these zoning rules are being specified by the master plan, in my previous video I said the master plan have stipulated and have clearly shown where we are going to be having major infrastructures and where we're going to have drainages and the likes. And when you're buying real estate investment, I stated that it is unwise for you to buy real estate investment without working with a realtor who have a knowledge of the master plan, or a realtor that can help you consult the master plan before you make an investment decision. Then other ways that you can also minimize the risk of investing in Lagos is that you need to investigate the root title for that property. And the reason why I'm saying this is that background check is very important. Now, there are diverse ways of investigating the root title of a property. Now, from our level of field of experience, I presently witnessed a scenario where a real estate developer bought a property from the wrong family. Now, I've said it in one of my videos that large acres of land are communally owned. That means that we can have like 10, 15, 20 families having legal rights over some parcels of land. So the error this real estate developer made was that he consulted some members of the family, leaving out the major stakeholders in that family. Now, when the developer got to find out that he has been scammed by some members of the family, he decided to use force. Now, in the process of doing our investigation, we found out that top real estate marketing agencies have almost sold out this particular estate. Now, the point basically is that when people go into the sales of properties, some people fail to do what we call a root title. Now, when we talk about root title check, we look at the ancestral owners of that land, and from the deed of assignment, we will also be able to unravel if there have been multiple sales on that property. There have been instances whereby our lawyer told us that it is not always advisable to buy or sell a property that have multiple ownership, because of when you need to transact or perhaps get a title on that property, the process of getting that title will be tedious because you need to consult every other people that have once claimed ownership on that property. So you need to understand that the background check opens you up to all these things, and these are some of the things. Now, it is very, very tedious doing this background check, and it involves a lot of money. Now, we've had several scenarios of properties that have dominated the market, and upon doing our own background check, we found out that a lot of multiple issues and challenges are on that property. So one of the ways you can minimize these dangers of Lagos State being an high risk investment zone is to conduct a thorough background check, investigate the title, and of course check if there are litigations or the property has been used as collateral in securing properties, securing loans from banks and other financial institutions. Yes, I've seen instances whereby some people are selling properties and without checking the litigation and to know if this property has been used as collateral, they are sold what they are not supposed to sell. So these are very important. Then the next thing you also need to do basically is that you must work with a real estate development company who is ready to get all the necessary approval. So I'm going to be stating the basic approvals that Lagos State government is requesting for each of the estates you are buying. The first approval is what we call the planning permit. Now, I said that the planning permit is an approval that will ensure that the developer is doing that estate in accordance to the zoning. Remember, I told you that there are zone systems and zone regulations, meaning that you cannot build a gigantic apartment on a land that is zoned for agric use. The only thing government will allow you to build is when you want to build farm quarters. Now, the zoning regulations basically stipulated what you can do on that land, and everything that must be done according to the real estate development must be as it has been stipulated by the zone. Then the next thing they are also going to use is what we call the layout approval. Now, the layout approval will state how many acres that are there, and of course, with that layout approval, when a client or a buyer or an investor want to comfortably seek and of course perfect the title, the layout approval makes it easier. The last is the fencing permit, and of course, you know that you cannot raise a stone, you cannot raise a fence if you don't have a fencing permit, and that's why you would observe that a lot of properties have been sealed in Lagos, Nigeria. So a developer that cannot ensure that he has most of these basic permits, it's not always advisable to work with such developer, because you see, if you should buy such properties, you are going to encounter several issues and sometimes when you are coming to seek this approval without the consent of the developers, it makes you to spend unnecessary expenses, and that can be avoided. So one of the things you need to do basically is that once the developer does not have the intention of getting this approval, please walk away. It is not a do or die affair. Work with some that, of course, and when you want, how do you know? A lot of people are asking me, how can I tell a real estate developer that can get all this approval so that when I want to use my land, I won't have issues from government, I won't have people from LAFSCA crossing my house, marking it sealed? Of course, you will know. And that's one of the reasons why it is very essential that you work with a professional. Then the next thing you also need to do is that one of the ways you can minimize the risk of investing the wrong property in Lagos is to avoid buying committed properties. In one of my videos, I said that it becomes extremely difficult for you to identify or tell a property that is committed without doing an adequate land search or property search on that title. Most of the estates that is being sold in Ekpe and other parts of Ibejuleki and Lagos are committed properties. And one of the ways you can identify that is when you do a thorough background check. Now, a whole lot of people are not aware of these manipulations. Like I've said it before, there are manipulations in the systems, and sometimes you don't know, and most of the realtors that are making recommendations may not be fully, aware of this manipulation. There's this particular real estate development company that keeps selling a land that is committed, and it has multiple. And sometimes when I watch realtors advertise this property, and I'll ask myself a question: are these people fully aware of the risk? Are these people are fully aware that most of these properties they're introducing to real estate investors will not be useful? And that's a painful aspect of buying properties from people who don't have experience. That's just it. So you need to understand that all these things must be put into consideration. Finally, it is also important that you buy from a reputable real estate developer, a developer that understands these regulations, a developer that has put it in plan to get this regulation, or a developer that has already gotten all these approvals that I've stated. Then you also need to work with a developer whose credibility has not been compromised. Now, we talk about credibility. You have seen from history and from ongoing activities that have happened in the real estate developer, how some real estate company folded up, how some people swindled a lot of people. So, but you need to understand that working with a real estate developer whose credibility has not been compromised, who have shown records of consistency in delivery, who have shown record of consistency in managing properties, and of course helping real estate investors to get their maximum return. Sometimes you don't understand that the input of the real estate developer determines the worth of your title, the worth of your property. Now, a property that does not have a title, forget when they tell you bought it 2 million instead of 5 million. It's only a stupid person who does not understand the basic things that will buy a land that does not have a title for 10. See, forget the price they're selling it. Sometimes there is no regulation of prices. So I can buy a property and decide to fix my price. But if the basic equipment and the basic facilities that can increase the value of my properties are not on site, what they are saying or the prices they are giving you is just what we call a wishful thinking, which is not possible. So the greatest risk anybody will take right now is not to invest at all because of the circumstances. Remember that everybody will not have the strength to work 9 jobs, work 3 jobs, work 4 jobs. Everybody will not have the capacity to do what they are doing, because you see, as we grow older, our energy level begins to dwindle. So the greatest risk you can take is refuse to invest because you consider Lagos State a risk zone. So one of the biggest and wisest decisions you can take right now is to work with a professional and let us expose you to the gold mine that is in the Lagos State real estate market. Until I come your way in another insightful and educative session of Property Matters, thank you very much. God bless you. Bye for now.